Hello everyone. Happy Monday to you. Yes, today is Monday, March 18th, and it is officially March Madness time. Well, it's been March Madness time. It has, for a while. But Selection Sunday was yesterday. We know where everybody's ranked. I have it right here. I have the tournament, the bracket, whatever you want to call it, right here. And I'm going to tell you what I got on my bracket. But we have a lot to get to before we get to that. So the NCAA tournament is definitely something that we're going to have our eyes on all week, including the NIT tournament. We'll keep you updated on both of those here on the scoreboard. 844 Studio 4. That's 844-788-3464. It gets you right here into the studio, onto the scoreboard, part of the program today. Anything you want to talk about, whether it's baseball related, because we have baseball going on in case anybody was unaware. Yes, baseball today. I know. Spring training, all that fun stuff. Opening day around the corner. Dodgers are playing. We also have the NHL season going on. But more importantly, and I think most importantly, on Friday and on Saturday, we got to hand out North Carolina high school basketball state championships. Yes, the men's and women's high school basketball is done. We spent the better part of 3 months talking about high school basketball here on the scoreboard. And, well, it's now over, as it looks like maybe we have a caller here into the studio. Let's go ahead, see what we got. Caller, you are on the scoreboard. What do you got for me today? Uh-oh. Hello? Caller, are you there? Hello. Are you there? I guess nobody's there. 844 Studio 4. That's 844-788-3464. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this high school stuff. Look, we have champions. We have 8 champions that we handed out. So let's go ahead and go through them, let you know who got those state championships, starting with the men's 1A. We actually knew this one on Friday. The Wilson Prep Tigers beat Corrivian Community 65-63 to claim the 1A men's state championship. In the 2A bracket, we had one of the North Carolina teams that was nationally ranked, Reedsville, taking on Farmville Central. Final score, Reedsville Rams getting their state championship 78-77, barely squeaking by against Farmville Central. That is some game right there, going down to the wire. And actually, if you pull up the info on this and look at the game recap, you will see that this game went into overtime. Yes, the 2A men's state championship game, overtime for Reedsville. They come out victorious, 78-77. On to the 3A, where we had Hickory High School undefeated going into the regional game against Central Cabarrus. Well, Central Cabarrus was able to come up victorious against Hickory to go play in a state championship. And after they got past Hickory, I guess it was just a breeze from there because, 71st High School did not put up much of a fight here. Final score, Central Cabarrus 90, 71st High School 62. So the Central Cabarrus Vikings got themselves a state championship in 3A. The 4A men's, the big schools in the area, this was probably one of the best state championship games in the entire country. New Hanover, North Mecklenburg, both schools ranked in the top 15 in the country. North Mecklenburg Vikings, the 5 seed, gets it done against New Hanover, the 1 seed. Final score there, 57-47. I'm not sure. Maybe we have a caller on the line here. Caller, are you there? No? Okay. I think I'm getting fake calls into the studio somehow. But if you're a real caller, let's just let you know 844 Studio 4. It's 844 788 3464. If you want to call in, fine. If you don't want to call in, that's fine too. But my flasher over here is going off, and it seems like there's nobody on the line. So we'll see what happens. We'll keep moving on. So that's how everything wraps up in the men's side of things. Now, for the women's side of things, starting with 1A, the state championship game was between Cherokee and East Columbus. And actually on Friday during the scoreboard, we were giving you live updates on this game. And Cherokee, they jumped out to a big lead in the first quarter, and they did not look back. Final score 74-32. The Cherokee Braves win the 1A Women's State Championship. For the 2A women's bracket, we had North Pitt out of the East versus East Burke out of the West. That's an interesting one. East Burke out of the West. Anyway. North Pitt ended up getting that one 76-77, the final score. So the North Pitt Panthers get a 2A state championship. Moving on to 3A. Now the 3A, we were pretty high on this one. We were talking about it because we had a few local area schools on it throughout the season. Unfortunately, wasn't meant to be. So the championship game was between Terry Sanford and West Rowan. And West Rowan, the 2 seed, 64-52. They get the 3A state championship. And finally, the 4A schools. Man, we almost were going to have, we were very close to having Lake Norman in the regional round, both the men and women's 4A. Unfortunately, the women's Lake Norman basketball team lost to Charlotte Catholic, who then went on to go to the state championship game against Rollsville. Unfortunately for Charlotte Catholic, they came up a little bit short. Rollsville in the end victorious in this game. Final score 65-58. Rollsville out of the East are your 4A women's state champions. So we turn our attention to baseball as we get through the high school sports landscape. We got baseball going on. We got other things, tennis is going on, cross country. We'll cover what we can here on the scoreboard. Keep you updated on that. We're going to be heavy into the baseball, I'll tell you right now. We'll keep you updated on everything. Starting tomorrow, we'll start it and cover everything high school baseball. I know the season's already started because we were actually slightly talking about what was going on in the high school baseball world a couple of weeks ago before we got into the playoffs here for basketball. But anyway, we got more scoreboard for you on the other side of this commercial break. The greatest NASCAR race of all time, maybe? I'll let you know. Don't go anywhere. We're back after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, scattered clouds this evening will give way to a mostly clear sky overnight. And temperatures getting cold, too. Freeze warnings in effect around the lake tonight, meaning if you planted things, you might want to cover them up or bring them inside just to protect them. Temperatures go down to around freezing, a couple of spots below freezing tonight. Our Tuesday, first day of spring, by the way, will be a cooler one. We'll have plenty of sunshine, high temperatures in the upper 50s, and warming back up as we go throughout the rest of the week. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Summer camps are just around the corner. Check out some of the camps happening at Kane Center for the Arts, Pottery for Teens, Paint, Broadway Through the Ages, and many more. Kane Center for the Arts is offering week-long camps starting June 10th through August 9th. For more info and to register for any of the summer camps, visit canearts.org. That's CAINarts.org. Rocky Lynn is playing.
I did it about 10 times there during the first segment. Twice I actually thought it was.
This Saturday night. Show starts at 7:30. registration at 6:15. Come out this Saturday night to Twisted Oak in downtown Statesville. Have some great dinner and enjoy a wonderful show. Rocky Lynn, Saturday night, Twisted Oak.
It was going to be easier for me to show you this. Line 6 on the
Saturday, March
phone
30th,
line,
come enjoy
even after I
Berg's
drop
first
it,
ever Easter egg
continuously lights up.
Collect 10 eggs and then
It
trade
just
them in
keeps
for
turning
special
on.
treats.
I don't
The
know
event
if
is open
that's
to the
causing
public.
issues for the
No
other lines, but
registration is required.
it's happened a
There
couple
will
of
be two
times. This
hunts,
is the
so
first
all
time
our
it's
little
happened
friends can have some fun.
consistent
Egg hunt for
throughout
ages
the
3 and
entire
under
first
starts
thing
at
I
9
did.
a.m.
I actually
Ages 3 to
thought
7,
it was
the
Paula.
hunt will start at 10 a.m.
I
Saturday,
said, all right, we got
March
caller
30th,
into the studio.
Birkdale's first ever Easter egg hunt.
It's nobody. It's nothing. It's not a thing.
Merlefest is back. April
Of course,
25th
now it's not
through
going to
the
do
28th
it.
At Wilkes Community College, featuring nearly 100 performers.
Of
including
course,
Bill
when I
Cosby
FaceTime you,
Show,
it's not going to
Sam
do
Bush,
it.
Turnpike Troubadours, the Teskey Brothers, Nickel Creek, and more. Tickets and information at merlefest.org.
There it goes.
Listen
It's-
each
it's
morning
just
to
that
Good
line.
Morning LKN for your chance to
Hey,
win
you ready?
tickets. Have an event you would like to tell people about?
Thank you for
Sales,
calling WSIC.
sales, and everything in between? Visit
Hello?
WSICnews.com and click
Hello?
on events to submit your event
This is
today.
WSIC.
Got a Toyota? Get it serviced at Quality Car Care of Statesville.
Yep.
Looking
I
for
didn't know if
great
that was a
vehicle
list
vehicle?
item or if that was a
Quality Car Care has you
quick
covered at
get that
2040
figured out
Old
before
Mountain
home
Road.
ad, 'cause like I
Visit
said, I don't know what it's doing to you.
qualitycarcarestatesville.com.
If you have an upcoming event, let WSIC spread the word. Go to WSICnews.com and click on the community calendar button.
Right, and
WSIC.
it's just lighting.
Proud to be part of your community.
Nobody's actually.
Now, more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on 1059 100.7 WSIC.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Hi. Welcome. You're back on the Scoreboard. Thanks for tuning in today on this wonderful Monday in March. Yeah, March. March is mad. March is mad. Not only is March mad because of the basketball world, but it's now trickled into NASCAR. And we're going to spend the next segment talking about the NASCAR Cup Series race at Bristol. One of my favorite tracks. I know it's a fan favorite. I know a lot of people. My desk is lowering on me. I didn't even mean to lower it. They got me this cool desk that rises and falls if I need it to. I guess I accidentally hit the button there and made it go down. Anyway, if you're trying to, disclaimer, if you're trying to get into the Scoreboard right now, 844-788-3464, and you're having problems, let me know on the video streams, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, X, WSICnews.com. Let me know if you're having trouble getting through on the phone lines. We may have something up with that, but if you're not, you can call in 844-STUDIO-4. Anyway, Denny Hamlin is your race winner at Bristol. I missed the prediction by 1 week. I said he was going to win Phoenix. He almost did, comes back and wins Bristol. So a little stat for you about this Bristol race. It had the most lead changes in a short track NASCAR race ever. Ever. There had never been any race at a short track that had as many calls as this Bristol race did. Yeah. It was something to see. And it started out normal. You take the green flag. Everybody's running down on the resin because they didn't put PJ1 down. So here's the key. Here's the key that you need to know about this Bristol race. Bristol is now designated as a wet weather track, meaning if it were to rain at Bristol, they can throw the rain tires on it. They could if they wanted to. Now, I don't think they're going to do that often because it would be really hard to race around Bristol in the rain, even with rain tires. But that's why they didn't put PJ1 down. Instead, they put some resin compound down to help with the grip on the bottom line, as they've done over the past few years, because it turned into a one line on the top racetrack instead of, top and bottom, which is what they wanted. Well, they put this resin down and they don't do much practice on it, 30-minute practice sessions, what NASCAR does now. So there's not all that much data on it, and we're using the same tire compound from last year. Throw the green flag, everything seems fine. Josh Berry, rookie, takes the lead, and then all of a sudden, tires. We're hearing tires. My tires are bad. They come in for the first pit stop of the race, and it's like, oh my goodness, half of the cars that came down pit road here have cords on their tires. They have no rubber left. All right, weird, a little weird for the first run of the race, but, nothing crazy. Let's keep going. Second run of the race, Kyle Busch drives from 16th to 2nd, putting on a great show doing it. And then what happens? All of a sudden, he starts falling back. And before you know it, Kyle Busch was about 2 seconds or so, like almost 2 seconds off the pace. Why? Because he had no tire left. And it was only about 30, 40 laps into a run. All of a sudden, other cars start slowing down. Kyle Busch spins. No tire. Denny Hamlin hits the wall. He's got no tire left. All of a sudden, this race is upside down. We have tires being blown left and right. We're 50 laps into the race, and these teams are already using their second set of tires. And now we have panic on our hands because nobody knows what's going on. And Kyle Busch, credit to him, because during the Fox broadcast, I was watching that and they kept going to Kyle Busch and his conversation with his crew. And he was just asking, about as politely as Kyle Busch could ask, is running in the resin what's making my tires degrade, or is it running on the concrete? Now, I don't know what the answer to that was, because when you look at the track from lap 1 to lap 500, it looked very similar. There was some rubber on the racetrack from when cars spun out and they left a tire marking. But the track did not take rubber the way we expect Bristol to take rubber. And you know what I'm talking about. When you're watching a NASCAR race and they show you, here's what the track looked like on lap 1, and you can see the concrete, and there's just a little bit of black right on the inside where they put that PJ1, and they say, here's lap 400. Here's the difference. And, it's all black. The rubber has been laid down. There's rubber all over the racetrack. That didn't happen. Instead, the track acted more like a cheese grater than anything, just tearing up the tires. And this is when things got crazy, because we kept seeing tires blow out through the first 2 stages. Well, we get to stage 3, and we had another caution, but then everybody goes, okay, we need to be smart here. We're going to back the pace down like crazy, and they back it down. And this is when I go, oh my goodness, this is now a how slow can you go race? Because anybody on the racetrack, when the second stage started, when the final stage of the race started, any singular car that was still on track could have said, you know what? I want to go to the front. We watched Ty Gibbs do it about 3 times, where he said, you know what? I don't want to be in the back. I want to be in the front. We saw him do it in the lead with other leaders, where Truex would pass him and he'd be like, you know what? I want to be in front of Truex. And then Truex would be like, I want to be in front of Gibbs. And Blaney was up there at one point. Keselowski had a good run. Tires keep blowing out. And then we get to the final segment and everybody goes, okay, we got to save our tires. So the pace is slowed down significantly. We get about 45 laps in, and then all of a sudden they start dropping like flies again. And people are slow. We have multiple blown tires on the racetrack. And they just pit. Nobody spun. Nobody wrecked. It was like, run your tire until it pops, come in for a stop, and get back out there. That's pretty much what everybody did. And props to Denny Hamlin, props to Martin Truex Jr., even Brad Keselowski. 5 cars finished this race on the lead lap. That hadn't happened since 2004 at Dover. Denny Hamlin, Martin Truex Jr., Brad Keselowski, Alex Bowman, and Kyle Larson, your top 5, followed by John Hunter Nemechek, Chris Buescher, Chase Elliott, Ty Gibbs, and Christopher Bell. This was a crazy race. I've never seen anything like this. I don't think we're ever going to see anything like this again. But then I go on to NASCAR's website and I say, you know what, let's find some things. Here, so NASCAR Vice President John Probst, Senior Vice President of Innovation and Racing Development, said he doesn't want to change much at all when it comes to the tires that they're using at Bristol. He doesn't want to change a thing. Maybe give him 20, 30 more laps on the tire. Maybe make it so that instead of you can run really hard, but once the tire blows, the tire's gone. Find a way, and I'm sure they're doing this, and I'm sure it's not as easy as I'm making it sound. So don't think that that's what I'm saying. Just try to find a way to make it slowly degrade, you know? Say, all right, 15 laps into a run, you're a couple of tenths slower. 30 laps into a run, you're a couple of more tenths slower. 50 laps, 75 laps into the run, your tires are cooked. And then you can find that spot where it just shuts off, as Kevin Harvick said. Do we have a caller in the studio? Caller, you're on the scoreboard. Are you there? All right, we're not going to take any calls today. I got fake phone calls coming into the studio. No more phone calls today on the scoreboard. I'm just going to chat. What was that? Something just yelled at me. I know you heard that, right? That was weird. Anyway, moving on. I don't know what I saw on Sunday, and I kind of hope I see it again. I do. It was one of the greatest NASCAR races I've ever seen. Everybody's running. Fuel mileage races are something. I've never seen a tire race quite like that. I remember the Brickyard 400 a few years ago. Maybe over 10 years ago now, 15 years ago even, where it was the car of tomorrow, so it had to be. Every 10, 15, 20 laps, somebody was blowing a tire. This was that, but the good version of that, because you were able to save tire and make it last. We're heading to a commercial break. We'll probably wrap up NASCAR on the other side of the break, and then we'll get into the NCAA tournament. I know that's what everybody's looking forward to. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to The Scoreboard. We're back right after this.
This guy knows his sports, right? There's more of The Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, scattered clouds this evening will give way to a mostly clear sky overnight. And temperatures getting cold, too. Freeze warnings in effect around the lake tonight, meaning if you planted things, you might want to cover them up or bring them inside just to protect them. Temperatures go down to around freezing, a couple of spots below freezing tonight. Our Tuesday, first day of spring, by the way, will be a cooler one. We'll have plenty of sunshine, high temperatures in the upper 50s, and warming back up as we go throughout the rest of the week. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Little Shavers Wood Shop and Building Supply is your one-stop source for winter electric and torpedo heaters, heat lamps, pine and cedar shavings, ice melt, and snow sleds. Plus, year-round items including PPG paints and stains, tools for plumbing and heating, and automotive supplies. Over 55,000 warehouse products available. You'll find Little Shavers on Facebook and online at littleshavers.com. That's LILshavers.com.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. What's up?
I'm tired of feeling so bloated.
That used to be me. Then I got this.
Align Bloating Relief plus food digestion. A probiotic, right?
Yeah, it works naturally with your gut to help soothe occasional bloating and gas. Plus, it has vitamin B12 to aid digestion by helping convert food to cellular energy. 2 benefits, 1 capsule.
Align Bloating Relief plus food digestion from the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Get $5 off at alignprobiotics.com.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZQuil.
ZQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZQuil nights. Explore our products at ZQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
If you're looking for the most epic place on Earth, let's start at the base of a massive waterfall. Then trek through the thick jungle. Then climb to the peak of a snowy mountaintop. Then once you get there, keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder, the search is the real adventure.
Available feature. Intelligent 4x4 cannot prevent collisions or provide enhanced traction in all conditions. Always monitor traffic and weather conditions.
There's a price war in the insurance business, and you may be paying too much. Call the Term Lifeline right now and see if you can save 40%. $500,000 plans and up, that's our specialty. Even great smokers' rates. Protect your family today. Call the Term Lifeline right now for a free quote. 866-509-TERM, 866-509-TERM, 866-509-TERM.
President Biden recently released a massive $6 trillion budget, the largest budget in U.S. history. And guess who pays the bill? That's right, you, the American taxpayer. American citizens and business owners will be paying more taxes. That's a fact. And if you owe back taxes, they will be coming after you to collect payments. In fact, President Biden also hired thousands more IRS agents to go after you. If you got a letter from the IRS and you know you owe back taxes or you haven't filed in years, don't put your head in the sand. Call us today. We've saved our customers millions of tax dollars. One quick, free phone call will show you how we can reduce your past tax bill and save you thousands. Guaranteed, or you pay nothing. Call now.
800-218-6440. 800-218-6440. 800.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Google already pays Apple to make sure its search engine is the default in Apple iPhones, and now there may be another tie-up between the companies. Bloomberg News says Apple's talking to Google about putting its Gemini artificial intelligence engine in iPhones. Apple is behind Samsung on that. It helped all three averages jump about 0.2 to almost 1%. The Dow rose 76, the Nasdaq 130, the S&P 32. It's no secret Elon Musk takes ketamine. He says, though, it is prescribed, and he takes the drug every now and then to treat depression-like symptoms. Musk told former CNN anchor Don Lemon in an interview streamed today, it's in the best interest of Tesla investors. He says from an investor standpoint, if there's something he's taking, he should keep taking it. Target is putting limits on the number of items you can take to self-checkout lines. The New York Post reports dozens of other retail chains are limiting or taking out self-checkout stands in part because of rising rates of theft. Joan Doniger, Bloomberg Radio.
Now more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
You are listening to the Scoreboard here, right here on WSIC. I'll read the number. Call in if you want. I don't know if you're going to get through. 844-STUDIO-4. That's 844-788-3464. Wrapping up what we were talking about on the other side of that break, NASCAR Cup Series action from Bristol, the Food City 500. First time it's been on concrete in a few years, and we had a memorable race. Nobody able to make the tires last. Cars blowing tires, spinning out left and right, concerned about making it to the end on tires. Are we going to have enough tires? NASCAR had Goodyear mount every single team an additional set of tires. Yeah. And now these weren't like new tires. They were the leftover tires from last year, so they really weren't all that good. What a mess. What a mess that race was. It was a good kind of mess, though, because you had no idea who was going to come out on top. In the final green flag pit stop, I thought they were going to make 2 stops because I believe it was Josh Berry whose car started to die on him first. I believe it was Josh Berry. He pit about 45 laps into the run, and I was like, oh, there's 80 to go. He's going to have to come in again and take tires. But he was able to figure it out, slow it down, and somehow limp that thing to the finish. I don't know how he did that, but he did. It was just a mess. It was fun. And then you got the battle between Hamlin and Truex at the end. Man, Hamlin came out 2.5 ahead of Truex. And Truex said it. He had to use up all his stuff early to chase him back down to even have a chance to win that race. And he did. He got the lead with about 6 to go. Now, granted, they were working through lap traffic. And at Bristol, it has a lot to do with how you get through the lap traffic. There's nowhere to hide at that racetrack. If you want to go ride around and just say, you know what, I'm just going to log some laps. You can't do that because if you drop to the back, guess what? The leader's going to be on you in like 10 laps, 15 laps. Now, it wasn't like that on this Sunday in particular because everybody was going so slow. But it's just one of those tracks. Now, next week, we head into a track that's absolutely nothing like Bristol, Circuit of the Americas down in Austin, Texas, for the first time in the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series schedule. We're going to make right-hand turns. Yes, we get to turn right. You can stop saying NASCAR is all about turning left because on Sunday, we're turning right. So the road course from Circuit of the Americas, man, remember when they had the rain race there and Martin Truex Jr. got driven under? Good times. And rain races in Cup Series and Xfinity at the Roval in rain. Good times, just good times with the rain in NASCAR. They haven't quite figured it out, but you know what? They're doing their best. They're doing their best. All right, let's move on to the sport of the hour here. The NCAA basketball tournament. I want to talk about something that isn't even relevant right now. Well, I guess it is relevant, but it's not the biggest news story in the world. The MAC championship. Kent State, Akron. Winner gets a berth to the NCAA tournament. Akron is up 60 to 59 with a couple seconds left. Kent goes down the floor, scores to take the lead by 1. And then we had a moment. We had a moment that I hope this kid forgets about because it's going to haunt him for a while. It is. It's a tough one. We had a J.R. Smith moment, basically. But this one was costly. Up by 1, Kent State takes a foul. Akron to the line to shoot 2. They bury both free throws. Kent State, not enough time to come back and score. Akron wins and punches their ticket to the NCAA tournament as the 14 seed in the Midwest Division. No. I feel so bad for that kid. I really do, because what was going through his head? Obviously, he thought they were still losing. But the realization, that split second of realizing, yeah, we got the foul quick. Oh, no, we're winning. It must have been just brutal. And it ended up hurting Kent State. Kent State fell to Akron. Akron moves on. They're a 14 seed in the Midwest. They got to play Texas. Not the easiest thing to do, but it's not impossible here. It was heartbreaking. It really was. It was absolutely heartbreaking. All right. Let's talk about what really matters, though, right? The ACC tournament. NC State. I don't think anybody had NC State winning this one. And you know what's crazy? There were so many teams to win their conference tournaments that weren't going to be in the NCAA tournament to begin with. Usually the play-in games, and look, I'm not going to lie, I have not taken a deep dive into how they do the college basketball NCAA bracket. There's too much. And the football one's much easier. I'm not a specialist when it comes to the NCAA bracket. I don't know the ins and outs of it, but what I do know is that there were so many conference champions that were not even going to be considered for the tournament to win their conference that the play-in games aren't for the 16 and the 11 seeds. They're for the 16 and the 10 seeds. I don't understand that. I never understood that. I never will understand that, why you're going to have a play-in game for a 10 seed or for an 11 seed, because somebody can win those games depending on who wins. Now, if you want to complete a bracket, maybe you wait until after those play-in games are done. That's what I normally do, because you don't pick, when you're doing an NCAA bracket, you do not pick the play-in games. You pick, hey, the play-in game is going to beat this team, and then they're going to move on. You pick the seed. So I personally like waiting until those play-in games are over, then I'll fill out my bracket. But I have an announcement here regarding brackets. And excuse me while I grab a sip of water, because this is a big announcement. WSIC is hosting Merlefest Madness. Yes, Merlefest. Let me see. Is my bell fixed? I think my bell might be okay. Merlefest Madness. Yay! If you, yes you, I'm talking to you, go on to WSIC's social media pages, you will find a link to a March Madness bracket challenge presented by WSIC. The winner of the bracket now hold on. Not only are you going to be competing against each other in the community, I'm going to be in that bracket too. I am making a bracket. Now, if I win, there needs to be a punishment of some sort for the listeners. But if you win, the winner gets 4 tickets to Merlefest late April. So we got plenty of time. The runner-up, yes, we're giving away multiple prizes. The runner-up will get some WSIC swag. Maybe you can win this shirt that I am wearing right here if you're looking on the stream. Who knows? Maybe we got a shirt for you here at WSIC. Be right back here on the Scoreboard.
Keep it right here. We'll have more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg in just a moment. From 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Well, scattered clouds this evening will give way to a mostly clear sky overnight. And temperatures getting cold, too. Freeze warnings in effect around the lake tonight, meaning if you planted things, you might want to cover them up or bring them inside just to protect them. Temperatures go down to around freezing, a couple of spots below freezing tonight. Our Tuesday, first day of spring, by the way, will be a cooler one. We'll have plenty of sunshine, high temperatures in the upper 50s, and warming back up as we go throughout the rest of the week. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Summer camps are just around the corner. Check out some of the camps happening at Kane Center for the Arts. Pottery for teens, paint, Broadway through the ages, and many more. Kane Center for the Arts is offering week-long camps starting June 10th through August 9th. For more info and to register for any of the summer camps, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Rocky Lynn is playing in Statesville this weekend. Come out to Twisted Oak in downtown Statesville this Saturday night. Show starts
You're
at
not
7,
crazy.
but doors open at 6:15. Come out this Saturday night to Twisted Oak in downtown Statesville. Have some great dinner and enjoy a wonderful Rocky Lynn, Saturday night, Twisted Oak, downtown Statesville. Saturday, March 30th, come enjoy Berkeley's first ever Easter egg hunt. Collect 10 eggs and then trade them in for special treats. The event is open to the public. No registration is required. There will be 2 hunts, so all our little friends can have some fun. Egg hunt for ages 3 and under starts at 9 a.m. For ages 3 to 7, the hunt will start at 10 a.m. Saturday, March 30th, Birkdale's first ever Easter egg hunt. Merle Fest is back, April 25th through the 28th at Wilkes Community College, featuring nearly 100 performers, including Old Crow Medicine Show, Sam Bush, Turnpike Troubadours, the Teskey Brothers, Nickel Creek, and more. Tickets and information at merlefest.org. Listen each morning to Good Morning LKN for your chance to win tickets. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
Prioritizing your health is one of the best ways to take care of yourself. From routine visits to the joys of pregnancy to the illnesses that stop you in your tracks, Iredell Health System will be by your side. Learn more at iredellhealth.org.
Have your say.
Trusting the government to fix anything is a joke.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't even trust the banks with our money.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for the final segment of the Scoreboard here on this Monday. We are ever so closer to the NCAA tournament. Boy, oh boy. Let's go through this real quick. We're going to go through all your conference champions. All your big ones, at least. All the ones that are important. And, you know, we got to shout out those mid-major schools as well. Big 12 championship. Iowa State 69, Houston 41, the number 1 team in the country going into that game, getting absolutely dismantled. In the Big East tournament, UConn wins it over Marquette. Wisconsin takes down Purdue in the Big Ten tournament. NC State, we talked about that, over North Carolina for the ACC tournament. The American East playoffs. Vermont over UMass Lowell. Brown beat Princeton. Oh, that was the semifinal game. Sorry about that. Howard over Delaware State in the MEAC. And let's see. Those are all of the Saturday ones. We talked about Akron over Kent State in the MAC championship. St. Peter's over Fairfield in the MAAC championship. Oregon over Colorado in the Pac-12 championship. Grambling over Texas Southern. Long Beach State and Grand Canyon also getting bids. In the SEC tournament, Auburn was able to beat Florida. The Big Ten was won by Illinois. Yale, by 1 point, wins the Ivy League tournament. And Duquesne over VCU in the Atlantic 10. First time in 47 years for Duquesne being in the NCAA tournament. And University of Alabama in the American Athletic Conference Championship over Temple. So the bracket is set. Number 1, North Carolina will be taking on the winner of Howard and Wagner. That'll be right here in Charlotte. Also, Duke, let's see, I saw Duke on here earlier. They got the 4 seed. They take on Vermont in the first game. NC State draws Texas Tech as an 11 seed against an 8. And also, I told you that we got other things going on in the NIT. Wake Forest, they made it into the NIT. App State as well. They were added to the NIT, and we will cover that. Maybe we'll see something fun there. I'd love to see a North Carolina school win the NIT. All right, moment you've been waiting for. We've been talking about this bracket, and reminder, go to WSIC social channels, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You will find the link to the WSIC Merlefest Madness. That is a March Madness men's basketball bracket to win Merlefest tickets if you win. Now, if you finish second, you're going to get some swag here from WSIC. So make sure you go register that. Everybody gets one entry, and you can only join until noon on Thursday. The brackets were just released Sunday. You don't have a lot of time before that first game starts, and we're not going to let people join halfway through the tournament. That's just not fair. All right, moment you've been waiting for. Here we go. The winner, in my prediction, for the 2024 NCAA tournament is Iowa State. I got Iowa State winning the NCAA tournament, the 2 seed in the East. I like Iowa State, man. I do. That's a great defensive team right there. And what do you always say? What do they always say? What's that saying? How does that saying go? What is it again? Defense does what? Defense, well, they win championships. And I think the Iowa State defense was on full display on Saturday, holding the number 1 team in the country at the time to 41 points. 69-41 was the final score in the Big 12 championship game. 18 points in the second half for Houston. I like that Iowa State team. Don't count them out. I'd love to hear what you guys have for your brackets, 844-STUDIO-4. Don't forget to join the bracket tournament for WSIC. You have a chance to win and just compete. It's a lot of fun. You know, I'm going to be there. We're trying to get everybody here at WSIC to join in on that bracket tournament. So have some fun with it. Make a bracket. You know, unfortunately this year, my alma mater, Fairleigh Dickinson, they did not win. Now, here's a fun stat for you, and we didn't talk about this all that much. Last year, Fairleigh Dickinson, we all know what they did, right? We all know they beat Purdue as the 16 seed. They had to win their play-in game, which they did, and then they went out and beat the number 1 seed Purdue in the first round as a 16 seed. Second team to ever do it. If you remember UMBC out of Baltimore, they were the first ones to do it. Fairleigh Dickinson should not have even been in the tournament last year. They didn't win the NEC. The NEC. They lost the NEC championship game to Merrimack last year. They did. They lost. But because Merrimack is in a holding period for recently becoming Division I, they were not eligible for the NCAA tournament. So Fairleigh Dickinson, as the fallback, was given the berth. They weren't even supposed to be there. And they end up upsetting Purdue. Now, I'm telling you this because anything can happen. Anything can happen. So if you went to one of these, I'm going to call it obscure schools, like, let's see, Western Kentucky. Creighton is one that's like, you only hear about them during the NCAA basketball tournament. Put them through. Let them win. Who knows? If you went there, put them through. My school did. I didn't even pick them to win last year. I didn't. That was a mistake on my part. For some reason, I on my bracket, I put Fairleigh Dickinson losing to Purdue. I mean, who could have seen an upset coming, right? I mean, I should have seen it, stuck with my school. I couldn't do that. I couldn't. Who knows? Maybe this year we'll have another 16. You know, if we have another 16 seed win, we're never going to get a perfect bracket. Imagine WSIC getting the first ever perfect bracket. You know what might be more impressive is getting a completely imperfect bracket, not getting a single one right. That would be something. You only need to do that for one round, though. You get everyone wrong in the first round, and, well, nobody's left. You got it all right. Oh, boy. We're getting close to the end of the show here on this Monday. I'm going to end things off with this day in sports history as we do. Here's one for you. On this day, 1892. We're going way back for this one. On this day in 1892, our friendly neighbors to the north presented something that would become a tradition. Lord Stanley presents the Silver Challenge Cup for hockey. That trophy later became known as the Stanley Cup. Also, on this day in 1945, another hockey one, Maurice the Rocket Richard is the first NHLer to score 50 goals in a season. That in 1945. In 1970, the NFL selected Wilson as the official football and scoreboard for the league. How about that? There's a lot of hockey this day in sports history, like this one here. 1981. The Buffalo Sabres set an NHL record 9 goals in one period. 9 goals. 1981. That was against Toronto. Let's see. Can we squeeze one more in it? 1991. The Philadelphia 76ers retire legendary Wilt Chamberlain's number 13 jersey. Let's see, one more. Let's get one more in here. On this day, 1955, Michael Jordan pulled a Michael Jordan. We talked about Tom Brady pulling a Michael Jordan last week. It was the anniversary of when Tom Brady pulled the Michael Jordan. On this day in 1955, Michael Jordan announced he is ending his 17-month NBA retirement. I don't want to get into it, but we all know that he was just kind of hushed away from the league for that big G word that we seem to have no problem with in sports nowadays. I'm not going to say it. Not going to say it. Thanks for tuning in today. You've been listening to The Scoreboard. Don't forget, join the WSIC Merlefest Madness Tournament. Make your NCAA bracket. You can win tickets and swag. And thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Until tomorrow, have a good night, everyone.